So let us begin with the lesson that particularly we have to be started from uh, long list, the cops and the anthems. Of course, it is mine, said the Soapy savagely. An ex-umbrella man retrieved the policeman hurried assist tall bonds in an opera clock across the street in front of the streetcar that was approaching 2 blocks away. The blonde means a person with pale hair. Hello. So that Sophie had to be very angry about that. That umbrella man has to be returned into that street of that blocks, and he had to be seen the two police on the cross of that road, and they had to be opera particularly opera clock, they have to be wear that particular places, and they have to be helped to that persons. means अर्थात ती माझी आई सोपी रागावून म्हणाला. छत्री गमावलेला मनुष्य माघारी वळला आणि 2 ब्लॉक अंतरावर स्ट्रीट कार येताना पाहून पोलीस पलीकडच्या रस्त्यावर ओपेरा झगा घालून जाणाऱ्या उंच ब्लॉन्डचा घाईने मदत करायला गेला. Sophie walked eastwards through the street damaged by improvements he hurled the umbrella angrily into the excavations. He muttered against the man who wear the helmet and carry clubs because he wanted to fall into their clutches, and they seems to regard him as a king who could do nothing wrong. Sophie has to be returned the direction of easterns. That time that road became very not well, and he had to be throw that umbrella on that particular places, and that man has to be wear that helmet, and they have to be something taught. Many of them they have to be doing something wrong, but he did not understand that things. म्हणजे पूर्वीच्या दिशेने खराब रस्ता असलेल्या दिशेने ते निघाला होता. सोपी रागाने छत्री एका खड्ड्यात फेकली. हेल्मेट घालणाऱ्या आणि दंडुके बाळगणाऱ्या लोकांबद्दल चचपडत तो काहीतरी फुटला, कारण त्याला त्यांनी तावडीत सापडायची इच्छा होती आणि ते मात्र त्याला कधीच चुकीचे न वागणारा राजा समजत होते. The length Sophie reached on the avenues to the east, where the glitters and turmoils was but faint. He dragged himself toward the Madison Square, for the home instinct survive, even when the home is a park bench. Turmoil, the state of great disturbance. So that time that Sophie has to be talk less, and he had to be reach on that particular eastern road, and he had to be thought that we had to be reach on the custody, and he went toward the medicine corner. थोडे अंतर चालून झोपी जगमगाट आणि गडबड करीत असणाऱ्या पूर्वेकडील एका रस्त्याच्या बाजूला पोहोचला. आता बाकडे हेच जरी त्याचे घर होते, तरी घरच्या ओढीचे पाय मेडिसन चौकाच्या दिशेने जाऊ लागा. But unusual quiet corner. Sophie comes to stand still. Here was an old church, quaint and rambling, and gable through one's violent strained window, and soft light glows where no doubt the against loitered over the ski, making sure of his master of coming Sabbath anthem. For there drifted out the Sophie's ear sweet music, and that God help him transfix against the convolutions of the iron French. The word quaints. Quaints means attractive, unusual, old fashioned, rambling, spreading or winding, irregular row on various directions, gabled, constructed with gables, triangular upper part of the wall, and reached the roof. Sabbath, the day of the religious observation, and abstinent from the work keep Jews and Christians. Convolutions, coin and twist. So Sophie became very calm and quiet. He had to be seen the one church that became very old, and one of the violet and other colors window. From that there were the particular sun rays came, and organs create the sound of sweeping. At that time there is the particularly the song of anthem our presented, and he Sophie like that the particularly that music, and Sophie had to become the fences of iron towards that church. मात्र आता अतिशय शांत वळणावर सोफी थबकला आणि जिथे जीर्ण विलक्षण आणि अवाढव्य निमुळते चर्च होते. एक जांभळट रंगाच्या काचेच्या खिडकीतून मंद प्रकाश येत होता. तेथून बहुधा कुणी ऑर्गन वाजवणारा सफाईदारपणे स्वरपट्ट्यांवर बोटे फिरून आगामी सब्बात सणाकरता प्रार्थनागीत सराव करीत होता. तिथून येणारे हे गोड संगीत सोफीच्या कानावर पडले आणि लोखंडी कुंपणापाशी तो एका जागी खिळून उभा राहिला. The moon was above, full and radiant. Vehicles and pedestrians were few. Sparrows twisted sleepily in the eaves, or a little while the scenes might have been the courty churchyard, and the anthem that the against played cemented Sophie's to the iron fences, for he had known it well in the days when his life contained such things as mother and Rose the ambitious, and friends and immaculate thoughts and colors. The word immaculate, perfect, clean, tidy. There was the full moons that had spread the light of that. Some of the vehicles, people's pedestrians means people walk on that road, and sparrow has to be some kind of their sound makings, and afterwards the particularly one scene of churchyard they have to be scenes. Sophie had to be listen that song in that particular fences. At that time he had to be remember his mother, the flowers of rose, and their friendship of their families, good thoughts, good peoples. It all remembers on that time. वर पूर्ण तेजस्वी चंद्र होता. थोडी वाहने आणि चालणारी लोक तिथं छतावरती चिमण्यांचा निर्दिष्ट आवाज चिवचिव करत होता. लवकर एक दृश्य गावातल्या चर्चसारखे दिसत लागत होते. सोफी मात्र ऑर्गनिस्ट आवाजीत असलेलं ते प्रार्थनागीत ऐकून लोखंडी कुंपणापाशी स्तब्ध उभा राहिला. हे गीत त्याला जेव्हा त्याच्या आयुष्यात आई होती, गुलाबाचं फूल होतं, आशा आकांक्षा परिवारात, मित्रपरिवारात, सद्विचार, सद्विवेक वर्तने लोक यांच्या गोष्टी होत्या, तेव्हापासून त्याला हे ठाऊक होतं. अशा पद्धतीचं सोफीचं एक मन त्याच्या गावाकडे त्यांच्या पुनर्विचारांकडे घेऊन गेलं. हे सगळं आपण इथं बघतोय. तर त्याला कोणी नसल्यामुळे, त्याला घर नसल्यामुळे तो एक विचार करत होता, मला कशा पद्धतीने या तुरुंगात जाता येईल आणि तिथं माझं या थंडीपासून संरक्षण होईल याच्यासाठी त्याचे प्रयत्न करत होता, पण सगळे निरर्थक जात होते. ते आपण इथं बघत आहोत. The conjunction of Sophie's receptive state of mind and influence about the old church brought a sudden and wonderful change in his soul. He reviewed wonderful change of soul. He viewed with the rising horror and pit into which he had trampled. He degraded days and worthies, desired dead hopes and wrecked faculties and base motives that made up his existence. Sophia had to be particularly thought about his past, and he had to be very impressive of that particular church whenever he has to be listen all these things. He seen his past and how we have to be gone in the worst life that should have to be seen in that particular place of church, and we have lost everything, and that has to be like the cold ice. At that time he very frightened about the days. He had to be each and everything, but he had not got everything. सोफीच्या मनात ग्रहण क्षमता, जुन्या चर्चा चे प्रभाव त्याचे मिलाप होऊन हृदयात अचानक विलक्षण विस्मयकारी बदल घडून आला. त्याची अधोगती पातळी त्याने गाठली होती आणि जाणीव होऊन भयभीत झाला, आणि अवहेलनेचे दिवस, अयोग्य आवाज, इच्छा, मृतवर भग्न झालेले आशा, नष्ट झालेल्या कार्यशक्ती आणि जीवनाचा निरर्थक उद्देश त्यांनी त्याचे संपूर्ण आयुष्य व्यापून टाकले होते. And also in a moment his heart responded thrilling to the strange mood. A strong impulse moved him to battle with the desperate fact. He would pull himself into the mire and would make a man himself. Again he would conquer and the evil that had enslaved him. There was the time he was young yet it would be resurrect his old anger, ambitious and pursue them without flattering those solemn but sweet organs whose notes had set up an revolution in him. Tomorrow he would go into the roaring downtown district and find work. A fur importer had once offered him a place as driver. He would be a somebody in world. He would. In the Sophie's in particular heart, he had to be live in a very worst situation, but now he will have the willpower to live, to do each and everything. He wants to be remove his old life and live in a good life in nowadays. At that time he wants to be win from his particular mind, and now he is still the young. That's why his time is not gone. That time that man has to be listen that song of organs and make some kind of revolutionary life in his particular mind, and of that particularly full of peoples on the cities. He had to be found the work and he has to be got the one particularly job of driving, and now he has to be doing something in the world, and started the one kind of the work in his own hand, and never he thought that about the bliss of his faces. तर प्रतिसादाला एका तीव्र प्रेरणेने इच्छाशक्ती त्याच्या दुःखद वस्तुस्थितीला तोंड देण्याची प्रेरणा होती. या दलदलीतून स्वतःला बाहेर काढायचे होते. पुन्हा आपले व्यक्तिमत्व निर्माण करीत त्याला गुलाम करून टाकलेल्या पापी मनोवृत्तीचा विजय मिळवत शकेल. कारण तो अजून वेळ गेली नव्हती, तो अजून तरुण होता. आपल्या पूर्वीच्या सुप्त आकांक्षा इच्छा पुन्हा जागृत करू शकला असता आणि न डगमगता त्याचा पाठपुरावा करू शकला असता. ऑर्गनच्या त्या पवित्र आणि मधुर स्वराने त्याच्या अंतर्मनातून क्रांती डगमगता त्यांची ऑर्गनच्या मधुर स्वरांनी त्याला पुन्हा एक नवीन जीवन जगण्याचं प्रेरणा दिली. उद्या त्या गजबजत्या शहरात जाऊन काम शोधू लागला आणि त्याला एक ड्रायव्हरची नोकरी मिळाली आणि पुन्हा जगात काहीतरी बनेल अशी त्याला इच्छा होती. सोफीने त्याच्या बाहूवर एक हात ठेवले आणि जाणवलं. झटकन मान वळून त्याने पाहिले तर एक पोलीस निर्विकार थंड चेहरा त्याला दिसला. And Sophie felt hand laid on arm and looked quickly around into the impassive face of police. "What are you doing here?" asked an officer. "Nothing," said Sophie. "Then come alone," said the police. "And 3 months on the island," said the magistrate in the police court in the next morning. "Oh, Henry." So the police has to become their office. Police officer came. "What are you doing here?" And Sophie said, "No, nothing." And police said, "Come with me." And that police has to be put the Sophie 3 months in particular island in jail. And afterward, in next day, Sophie had in court doing something about his particular places. 3 months has to be island and magistrate, police and court in the next morning. "तू इथे काय करतोय?" असं सोफीला विचारलेलं पोलीस ऑफिसरने विचारले. "काही नाही," सोफी म्हणाला. "चल मग ये माझ्याबरोबर." तो पोलीस म्हणाला. 3 महिने बेटावरील तुरुंगात. दुसऱ्या दिवशी पोलीस कोर्टात न्यायाधीशाने फरमावलं. "ओ हेनरी." तर बघा, या लेसनमधून तुम्हाला एक लक्षात येईल की जेव्हा सोफी वेगवेगळे कृत्य करत होता आणि त्याला वाटत होतं की थंडीच्या बचावापासून आपल्याला संरक्षण मिळेल आणि पोलीस स्टेशनमध्ये आपल्याला त्याचा फुकटात अन्नही मिळेल आणि थंडीपासून संरक्षणही मिळेल, पण तो वेगवेगळ्या चुकीचं वर्तन करत होता. पण तेव्हा पोलीस नेत नव्हते आणि जेव्हा एंड ऑफ द लेसन ही थॉट, "आय हॅव टू बी डुईंग इन माय ओन." ॲट दॅट टाइम पोलीस हॅज टू बी केम अँड हॅज टू बी पुट इन द जेल. म्हणजेच जेव्हा त्याला चांगलं काम करू वाटलं तेव्हाच त्याला पोलिसांनी सुद्धा तिला साथ दिली आणि शेवटी पोलीस तिथं घेऊन म्हणूनच या लेसनवरून आपल्या लक्षात येईल, जेव्हा एखादा व्यक्ती चांगलं काम करायला लागतो तेव्हा त्याच्या जीवनात असंख्य प्रॉब्लेम येत असतात आणि जेव्हा त्याला वाटतं की आपण वाईट काम करून सुद्धा त्याला वाईट दिवस येत नाही. तर याच्यावरून असं लक्षात येतं की सोफी वॉन्ट्स टू बी डुईंग द गुड but police not put into the jail. So now the remaining that homeworks you will be do by your own. Now I conducted here one for five. Forgiveness is